So we are making sure that uh, everything is, everything is in line in terms of financial situation. The financial situations for the project is we make sure that we are not going to work beyond. It should be within, always within. So the solution that the solutions that we are doing uh, before we implement a project, okay? So everybody in the team, we do some brainstorming, and we make sure that we are giving the value first before the profit.
Welcome and good day. Today we have a special treat for you. It's season 12, Leader's Edge, episode 8. I'd like to talk about something that I think many of us have gone through. I'm talking about projects and business management. And we have May Anonuevo, who will be talking about leading change in an age of transformation, learning how to make your project team ready. So, May, can you tell me a little bit about why you got involved in consultancy first?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Sir Paul. Um, and also the Speakers Bureau for inviting me and to be your guest for today. Thank you so much. And hello, all the way here from Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Um, Regarding the leading the team, no, for this very challenging situation in our economics, in our uh, business situations in across the world. Okay. Um, I'd like to say something about how difficult it is when we say um, innovating a project. Okay. Um, then later on, we will discuss more about it. For now, I'd like to introduce myself first. I'm very sorry about that. I almost forgot about myself, the usual thing, you know. Okay. Okay. My name is Miss May Anonuevo. All right. I'm a consultant in the project management. We are focusing on the subject matter where I get used to involve when I was employed in the logistics. Okay. So I got the idea of I'd like to be a consultant in the future. So I was only 20 years old that time because I really admire my boss, how he handles the situation in the logistics, and he's so very active. So yeah, that's why I got into a consulting firm. I really love solving the problem of any situations. So I got into that situations in a way I was given a big role in the project. So that's why, okay, my boss says, you have the capabilities of solving a problem. So from then, I said to myself, in the future, that's this the business I want to have, to solve a problem of a company, of an individual. So, but I started with the beauty industry. Yeah.
Okay, fascinating. The beauty industry, that's a nice place to start. Okay. Now, when we talk about innovation and project, actually, just the words themselves have a lot of impact. So let's start with innovation first. Okay. Especially in today's world, innovation seems to be something that you have to do. You have no choice. When it comes to innovation, what are some of the biggest challenges companies face when they want to innovate?
The transformation. from the traditional doing the business into digitalizing the systems, the procedures,
Yeah.
yeah, even the technical skills of the people. So we know that all of us have to incline ourselves into what is really happening. Yeah. So what we did, even our business, the May Consultancy Center business, before we don't actually checking our social media presence. We don't mind that because our business is doing well without it. But when the pandemic came, of course, we all know that we cannot go anywhere. So we have to also monitor our staff, our projects remotely. So yeah, that's why we innovate a project where all of us, at first our company, we applied it in our company, and then when we fixed that in in our own system, we offer it to our neighborhood, to other
Okay.
businesses. So and then they got amazed what we have because we successfully created a digitalizing the system, the system on how are we going to monitor our projects remotely. So that system that I'm talking about is the Builder All. It is Builder All where you can see all the digital marketing tools applicable to any industries. So that's what we have successfully uh, accomplished numerous projects by then.
All right, that's interesting. Now, usually success requires some kind of, you go through some challenges when you work towards success. Can you tell me maybe about some of the challenges you were facing while you were creating this successful system?
Yeah, very good question, Sir Paul. No? At first, it's very hard actually when we are starting to embracing the new way of doing business because physically, mentally, all everything is involved. All factors are involved. But then one time I prayed to God, Lord, guide me, help me. How am I going to solve this in a way that everybody is not going to refuse the new and that the challenges is very tough and then in one time in that very morning when I was sipping my coffee, there's I believe it's God. I believe it's God. He says, uh, this is only a very little challenge. And then I was as I was listening to him, and then he speaks to my heart very, very clear. It's very clear that it is not time for changing. What I have learned is also timing, the right timing for everything. So that's why I said to my team, okay, give ourselves break, okay, and be with your family, okay, and let the work, let's set aside the work at this time. So that's what I did. I know it's very hard that time because we need to, our business, we need to have a good sales, right, to sustain our business. But I I gave myself up to what the Lord is saying to me to have to, to spend our time with the family. So and then uh while I was sitting in the front of the computer, there's a lot of a lot of what you call this, answers.
Yes. Answers.
Yeah, there's a lot of answers to my prayers, a lot of ideas, a lot of new things. As I was looking at the computer, there's one word, innovation, uh, in front of my eyes. Innovation, innovation. Okay, so yeah, then without me knowing that while I am typing, while I am is restructuring the whole thing in the business, I created something where now we are using it, and everybody's in our neighborhood using it. The system that we have created, I know it's blessed by God. So that's why the transformation and innovation created that time. So the lessons learned there is, the right timing and listen to God's, um, uh, 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 wisdom, the wisdom coming from the Lord. So yeah, Sir Paul.
Maybe the challenge you had was you were trying to solve it yourself.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I'm going to do this. And when you actually, let somebody else worry about it, God, things happen.
Mm,
Actually, this is also quite true when I work with when you want to come up with new ideas.
mm,
You usually come up with your new ideas when you're not thinking of the problem.
mm.
If you think about the problem, nothing happens. It just gets worse. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself in a position where you're not thinking of the problem for the new ideas to come in. Okay.
Mm,
Uh, you know, it- Absolutely, innovation is something that does take a lot of maybe they like to call it creative thinking,
mm,
but for me in my books, it's still critical. Why? Because creative thinking in reality is the output of all of your experiences. Okay, so in a way, it's critical in that sense because it's not just coming out of nowhere. It's all of your experiences, and then you're coming up with something. Except that you
mm,
does it maybe not in a structured way or in a specific way. It just comes up with it. So it looks like it's creative, but in reality,
mm,
it's actually all of your experiences put together. Now,
mm,
one of the challenges I think an organization will always face when it comes to innovation is the money. Okay, now
mm.
if you're a big company like Google, we have a good strong cash flow, you can take a few hits, no problem.
Yeah,
But let's say you're a small company and your funds are, it's either I'm
yeah.
going to make this work or I'm dead. Okay, all right. How do you face those kind of situations?
The good thing about finances of the company during that time and before the pandemic arise, um, actually we are stable during the time.
Mhm.
Because we work on a project basis, meaning to say, we make sure that our project is, enough for the project. I mean, we don't because that time we work within your project. That's our tagline. We
Mhm.
work within your within your budget. So we are making sure that uh, everything is everything is in line in terms of financial the financial situations for the project is we make sure that we are not going to work beyond. It should be within, always within. So the solutions that we are doing uh before we implement a project. Okay, so everybody in the team, we do some brainstorming, and we make sure that we are giving the value first before the profit, before thinking of the profit of the project.
Okay, all right.
So we understand that everybody's situation during those the pandemic thing, everybody is having a budget constraint.
Yes, definitely. Mhm.
Yeah. So what we did is, okay, because this is actually I told to my team, okay, So team, we have a client, okay? They want to transform, okay? They want to transform their system from traditional into digitalized. Uh, they want to be leading in the social media thing like that. And then, since we don't have much, requirements for physical involvement. When you do a legwork, there's a lot of money involved in that, to go to that place and everything like that, right? So now, no, we checked ourselves that we are working now in a remote way. So the only cost that we need is the cost for the Wi-Fi, for the signal, right?
Right.
To continue the communications, and the system where everybody is looking the status of our tasks. So we have that program, okay, which I we have that program even before, even the pandemic is not yet, came in the situation. That's help us. So the budget for the legwork, okay, we save that. We save a lot.
Okay.
So the only cost that we have is for the system that we have to, to continue the communications. And yeah, we successfully achieved the every projects that we have that time. Even now, we are continuously doing our business. The financial is not anymore before, actually before,
Yeah.
budget is really number one concern in every project, right? But when this solution that we came up, actually it saved a lot. It saves a lot. Um, we changed the tagline. Before we said we work within your budget, and then we changed it.
So what is it now? What's the tagline now?
The tagline now is more projects coming in your way.
All right. Okay. All right. So help me understand your model a little better. So let's say I'm a company that says, "Hey, hi May, I was really fascinated with the show you had there at Speakers Bureau, and I want to transform. I need some help in moving my company into a digital space, if you want to say. Uh,
Yeah.
now that's me as a client. Okay. So as a client, typically, what would you see some of the what do what are some of the challenges I would face? Not you, me. What would I face usually when you work with clients?
Okay. Uh, First of all, we are asking the client how their business is going, where the root, what is the root of the problem, why they like to be, like their business put into a digitalized system. So from there, we will know the situations. And then once, for example, the situation is not to be, uh, not to increase the followers or to increase their sales based in the social media. What they want is internal solution. For example, system. Okay, how they gonna do their business fast, easy, so something like that. So what we're doing, once we know the root cause of the problem, and then our team is communicating each other remotely. Okay, we set on a meeting via Zoom, and then we have that system. We called it Click Up. Okay, the Click Up help us a lot to monitor the status of each of our team to have the solution for the problem. Okay, so once we make the what you call this process flow chart, okay, we see. where we're going once we finalize the process flow chart, and then we are, programming, we do the programming in the system. Okay, we make and create a program for that. So the end user or the company have a problem in terms of digitalizing their system, they will see and understand, because when technically they could not even understand the terminologies,
Yeah.
right? So that's why we're doing it easy for them to understand through the process flow chart.
Maybe another way to express this is oftentimes when companies want to digitalize internally, they just think they'll take their paper and put it on digital format and they're done. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is, well, I don't think usually works. You have to rethink the whole process from top to bottom.
Mm,
Okay. Now, okay, so that was innovation. Now let's move on to a little bit of the project space. Okay, because projects are also becoming increasingly popular. In fact, it's one of the project managers, one of the projected to be in demand jobs in the future. Okay, let's talk about projects. Typically, when you do a project, okay? Can you give some tips about how to make a project succeed? This is my experience with the huge ERP projects where they try to put in an enterprise-wide digital how do you call it, system. But the success rate isn't that great.
okay.
So
Yeah, to
maybe
make the
you give
project
some tips.
successful,
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, to make the project successful, um, we need to lead our team. We need to lead our team with the changes happening. Okay, so what is the vision of the team? What is the vision of the client's view? Yeah. So because without the vision, without understanding the vision that we wanted to direct ourselves. For example, um, okay, team, this is the situation now. We need to understand our direction. Okay, we have to restructure things. What is easiest for us to, do our tasks. So if anyone from the team having a problem in terms of communications, so we check also that, because that's the backbone of the digitalization thingy, the communications, the our tools for communications.
Yeah.
So number two, yeah, vision, and then number two, the urgency. Once we clear the vision, once we already clear in our minds that the vision that we wanted to want to achieve, and then we need to have this urgency, because urgency is a thing like you cannot see your people right beside you, right? So you are working on a remotely way. So we make sure that everyone is aware that every task has a duration. Yeah. And then number three, we have also to consider the involvement of the team. Okay, because in decision making process, we don't involve everybody in the team actually. So we have that kind of thing like leveling of tasks, assigning the task per level of the project team members, so that everybody will not, confuse and avoid time also, you
Correct.
know. Yeah. So and number four, I think we need also the support in terms of training. Okay, because not everybody is yeah, technically speaking, the terminologies, the how to use the tools. So we need to have that support, training support, how to use the tools and why these tools is being installed or integrated in the system. So yeah. So I think we need all of those things in order to be successful, doing the project.
Okay, so let's try to summarize that quickly. Okay, so the last one you mentioned was you need the training or support. Then
Mm-hmm.
you had communication, correct?
Yeah.
The first one I remember to be leadership and vision. The
Mm.
second one was what was the second one?
Urgency. Urgency.
Urgency. Yes, thank you. Urgency.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we look at those four, okay, usually when you do a project of those four, which one maybe struggles the most, or usually, or which one is the most difficult to usually work with?
The Actually the people who work in the teams. Yes.
Okay,
People management
there's
because yeah.
a joke about project management because I also teach basic project management. I teach the critical path method. And I said the joke is the first step in all projects is to determine who the scapegoat will be, who to blame.
Yeah. Yes, Sir Paul, because during that time, um, when we are creating the system, digitalized system, we noticed that the people involved in the project, they are not into because they're all, let's say, old school. They don't want the idea of digitalizing things, you know. So, of course, me as you know, they are our seniors. You know, they are seniors, and they don't want to they don't want into they are not open yet. They're not embracing yet the idea of innovating things in terms of digitalizing the system that we have in the business. So what we are trying to say to me that May, this pandemic is only not permanent. Okay, so don't be so much, you know, into it. They said, and then okay, I respect what they are telling me about during the time that this pandemic it will not, you know, stay long. Okay. So, but I told to myself, I keep it to myself and continue what I am doing actually behind. I'm not putting in the table yet that time because I'm preparing myself for the future. So, okay, I respect their inputs. Yeah, that's why I said out of four, out of four
Okay.
that I have said is people, the mindset of the people, how are we going to lead the people into the changes. It's the changes happening. So I understand also where they're coming from
Right,
because they usually do the project uh, not into digitalizing thingy, no?
right.
I understand that.
Actually, I think that also has a lot to do with the leadership and vision part because usually projects, they always start with a purpose. But,
Mm,
when I run my courses, I ask them straight out, is how many projects are in trouble now simply because the purpose is not understood the same way by everybody?
mm,
And
yeah.
raise their hand. Exactly. I said, we already have the purpose. And you already have different ideas of what it's about. I said, of course you're going to be confused. Like,
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's why I have mentioned that the vision is very
yes,
important, that the vision is very clear to the team. So where are we now and where we wanted to go, you know?
right,
So we should it must be clear to the team. So yeah, that's why I also mentioned that in terms of communications, what's the problem? Who have the problem in terms of communications there? So don't have signal, good signal, which is during that time I remember there's too much rain in the Philippines, you know.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You know what's fascinating about this is, yes, the pandemic happened. It was a unique event. Okay, but I think what many people didn't grasp immediately was, yes, it would end. We know that. We didn't know when. But we also knew that it would end. But maybe they didn't think that by the time we come out of it, we'll be different. Okay,
Yeah.
it won't be the same as before.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm sure you've heard this term where everybody is trying to do all transaction. What is it? Non-contact transaction.
Mm.
do everything on paper. You make sure you can, pay, get your signatures, everything, all of that. That was all
mm,
part of the process, which I'm sure you worked through as well. Okay, so when you combine the two, innovation and projects, they do go hand in hand, but they all present their own, let's say, difficulties, if you want to say, but at the same time, opportunities as well. One thing that I'd like to ask you is, in your estimation, the pandemic was an external event,
mm.
but is it external events that are more threatening to us, or is it ourselves who are more threatening to us? In short, when you work with companies, are most of the threats internal or are they external?
Yeah. Yeah. To the point of view of the owner is totally different to the point of view of the employees. Okay. So, we as business owners, how I see the pandemic is it's actually both external and internal have impact in every situations.
Right.
Okay.
Because based on our conversation, when you said people, okay,
Yeah.
I made to think that most of the problems are actually internal, and that maybe some business owners either don't see it or don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
Okay, either way,
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
because for me, things happen externally, we can't control them, and we'll just
Yeah.
react to them. We're going to do
Mm,
something,
mm,
even if doing nothing is something. We're still doing something, and but that leaves that really most of the threats are actually internal and not external. It's mainly our
mm,
limitations. And you were saying that people don't want to change, or
mm,
maybe they're slow in accepting the change and all of that.
mm,
Again, that's what I'm gathering based on the conversation.
mm.
And a lot of it is actually internal. But you know, in your estimation, again, what do you think when you look at both of them combined? Okay, we know that we have to do them. We know that we have to execute these in order to move into the future. We also know that people will probably be the biggest headache. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Uh, but do you think this is something that will just be here because of the pandemic, or is it something that moving forward is something we just have to do all the time?
Yeah. We get used to say pandemic, pandemic everywhere, right? Until we get used to you hear it. But in fact, actually, it's nothing. You know how I see it? This after all this you know after all since 2020. So now that we are moving forward, we are in a way we are thinking of, what is this? What's wrong with me actually? What's wrong with me? What's this pandemic all about? Why I'm so affected about the pandemic? So we should have that, lighting, um, what you call this? One time in ourselves, we will notice ourselves that, oh, what's wrong with me? Why am I so affected by this pandemic? But it's nothing actually. It's just, thing that happening. People, what I realized actually, what I realized, God is so great. How he created human. It's very intelligent, you know, very intelligent. In anything, there's a solution. Which is good. But you know what? Actually, I was so amazed, and at the same time, the journey during those times, I'm so excited every day. I'm so excited every day because people becoming aware, and becoming creative, becoming productive. Their potential, how God created us, the potential, um, what you call this, use. You
You
see,
know,
even
go ahead.
yeah, Yeah, you see, even 2 years old, they know already how to how to use the cell phone. Imagine that.
You know, maybe uh, the one thing that I'm a little afraid of, if you want to say, is all the lessons we learned because of the pandemic. I just hope they stick. Because next thing I know, we go back to our own old ways, if you want to say. Okay. I think they're a little more relaxed, and there's no sense
Mm,
of urgency anymore to maybe change, if you want to say.
yeah.
Okay, but with the advent of all this new technology, I think that urgency will always be there now, because the
Mm,
technology is also coming in and moving very, very quickly, if you want to say. But all in all, maybe I think my own takeaway about this whole thing is that ultimately, you're really not in
mm.
control.
Yeah.
You have to actually surrender yourself and say, okay, let's just, and
Yeah.
it makes you worry less. It makes you even more successful in so many ways. Your personal experience about just letting go, and we can talk letting it, giving it up to God, if you want to say,
Mm,
but
yeah.
understanding that we're not in as much control as we wish we were or we think we are, and just to let it be. Okay,
Yeah.
because it's maybe that's the biggest, how do you say, the biggest aha moment I had, epiphany, listening to you talk. But this is a very interesting topic. What we're talking about, innovation, I think, will be with us forever, especially in
Mm,
how quickly you can see the technology is moving.
yeah.
Okay, and if we're not up to innovating, we might,
Mm,
I don't want to believe it'll be bad, but it's also difficult not to say that we will be challenged by everything. Okay, even humanity, if you want. But is there anything maybe that you want to tell our viewers about some events that are coming up, about more about your work that you do, how we can reach you?
yeah. Thank you, Sir Paul. Yeah, to all the viewers of the Speakers Bureau, thank you so much for tuning in with us, today, learning about innovation, okay, project innovation. I would like to share is um, everything is based on the innovation, meaning to say that we should be always ready to listen to God's words, you know, listen to God's the wisdom that coming from the Lord, because that's the only time it's going to be effective. No matter how we are very effective in everything we do, but at the end of the day, uh, um, it is more effective when we listen and apply what's the Lord wants to uh, for us to do for the betterment of yourself, the people around you. Okay, so always listen, also be aware and always listen. Okay, it's not there's nothing wrong listening to that. Okay, so you can check our projects in our website www.mcc-pmi.com, where you can find the innovation, the setting up of your ideas into reality, and then we will start it up until it's became operational, and then we will put your products and services into global markets. So that's all of it about MCCPMI.
May, I can't thank you enough for everything you've shared with us today.
Thank you
And
so much too.
to our viewers, if you liked what you saw, please click on the like and subscribe at the bottom of this page. Episode 9 will be with Mendelssohn Manalaysay. He's a doctor, and his topic will be about personal transformation. So, from uh, maybe corporate transformation, we go down to personal transformation. And as
Wow.
always, learning is a never ending journey with limitless vistas.